football on. Why would I be watching it? What?
Get ready for the world's greatest Arsenal podcast. Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome to Guns and Yellow Ribbons. My name is Fergus. I am your host tonight. I am joined by old man Trev as usual on these pre-match previews. I'm also joined by Dan Potts and Mem. It's going to be a lively one. We're up against Southampton again. We will cover the game on Saturday, but more importantly, we'll look ahead to the game tonight. I welcome you guys to the show. Mem and Potsy, you're back on again. Potsy, haven't seen you for a few weeks. How are you keeping? I know what you're like on the WhatsApp groups.
Good cheers, mate. Yeah. Not too happy with how things have been in the last few weeks. I know we've been winning, but the performances for me ain't been there. But we'll get into that. But I'm good, mate. I haven't been on one of these for a while. I think I've done about 2 or 3 with you, but it's been a while, mate. I'm normally with me, old man, watching the game, but tonight I was working a little bit later, so I've decided to watch it at home. So looking forward to it as ever. I think it's the only thing keeping us going at the moment, isn't it? Football, no matter what it is. I mean, I've been watching every single game possible, to be honest with you, including Arsenal's. So just to keep a bit of entertainment going. But all good, mate, and happy to be on with you 3 legends.
Brilliant. Mem, in candlelight, Chingford, it's lovely. It's so romantic, the setting you've got there. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good, mate. No, not too bad. Coping well. Good to be here. Thank you for the invite.
I think that's what we're all doing, just coping well, and hence my jovial, stupid attitude that there's going to be tonight. We're just going to keep on smiling. And my yin to my yang, my pure to my simple. He's the simple one. My ward off to Sattler. Old man Trev, how are you? He's got a delay.
I'm all right myself. It seems to be even worse tonight. I don't know what's going on with it. I know I'm on a delay. I just dropped off. So I apologise if I go missing. Mem, nice to see you again, my friend. Potsy, can't wait to have a chat with you tonight, my son.
Here we go.
Fergus, I suppose mate, we'll be all right.
Right, listen, it sounds like it's going to be like that again, doesn't it just? Right, we're going to go into the usual format. We're going to look at the Southampton Arsenal game, and then we're going to look at the Southampton Arsenal game. So it's really confusing for an Irishman, given 2 Southampton Arsenal games in a room and tell him to take his pick. So first of all, we'll look back to the FA Cup defeat. We're out of the FA Cup, our trophy. Really, really disappointing. I think we all knew it was going to be a difficult game. But I think, as we've all said over the years, and it's probably 2 or 3 years of doing this podcast, we don't mind what performance or what result Arsenal get. We obviously want to win, but it's all about the performance that's been put on the pitch. Southampton knocked out Arsenal out of the FA Cup in the 4th round, courtesy of a first half own goal, a very unlucky own goal. I think the keeper had it covered otherwise. In the 24th minute, Che Adams also came close. Bert Leno made some great saves, and Ward Prowse delivered. He hit from a corner, hit the bar. So it was quite a dull game from an Arsenal point of view, especially in the first half. Dan, what did you make of say, looking at the first half of that game? And I know you were quite critical of some elements of Arteta's team selection.
Yeah, a lot of people disagree with me and have done over the weekend, but I would have gone full strength for this competition because, 2 reasons. 1, I think we had a chance of winning it, and 2, I think, we've proven that from last season, and 2, I think that it's a competition we all love, and it's a competition we all want to be in. It's one that we were all going mental at in the summer, and now it seems we're out, and it don't matter, let's move on to the league, and I would have done it the other way around. So I was a bit disappointed with the team selection. I think I would have preferred to go weaker tonight and stronger on the weekend, personally, to try and just keep in the competition. And if you have to rotate and take a few people off, then so be it. So that was my biggest frustration with the team lineup, and it was no surprise when I saw it. It was deflating, and I expected to lose. And we did. So I don't really sit there and say, well, I was shocked by the result. I'm just disappointed with the manager and the team selection. Some of the players have proven yet again that they've let the club down. So, bit of a frustrating game, if I'm honest with you, Ferg.
No, I get that. And I think what it really demonstrates more than anything else is the depth and strength in the squad that we have as a whole, rather than more than necessarily the manager. The manager is probably trying to get a game out of everybody, but it definitely shows the quality that we got after that. Well, we've only really got a top 7 or 8 players. And then we've got some young players that come in to fill the gaps who are doing fantastic. And then some deadwood that we're getting rid of, and some other players that just don't really meet the grade. Mem, what did you make of that? The game, the first half, the own goal, just the press that Southampton put us under in that first half.
I didn't. I had a bit of sad news on on Saturday. Ferg, just as about 45 minutes before the game was about to kick off, so I didn't actually see any of the match live. I caught the sort of match of the day highlights, but from what I heard, the team selection wasn't what some of us had hoped for, because the FA Cup was more or less our salvation last season, and Dan's right. It's a little bit sad to be out of it, but it's done now, so I suppose the big focus is on this evening. I didn't see a great deal of it, guys. I was in a different place at that moment in that day. So, yeah.
I've been there. Been there, done that. Got the T-shirt.
Yeah, it's probably best that Trev comments more so on it, really. Yes. But I am you mentioned the player, James Ward-Prowse. I've liked that kid since the minute I've seen him. I think he's a really good player. Just one, maybe a topic for conversation at a later date. Yeah, I really like him. Good player he is.
Trev, Mem said you should comment more on this game. I know you normally try and keep a positive outlook on games, but dig deep if you can find some positives about that performance.
Yeah. Well, do you know what, Fergus? It was really an interesting thing to reflect on, giving it some thought between Saturday's game and today. Firstly, Mem, I've already told you my feelings about what happened to you at the weekend, mate, and I'm very sorry. So, but it's interesting, Fergus, because you mentioned just now, right, that he brought the youngsters in, right? Well, it was a different. Firstly, I agree with Danny Noel. I was surprised with the side he picked. I thought he would have gone for a stronger side. I thought that we valued the FA Cup more than that. But we didn't pick our normal second team. This is what's interesting, and this is what shows where we're changing. In that, even just 2 or 3 weeks ago, if you'd have said put in our second team out or put in our not so strong team out, you would have seen Maitland-Niles, Nelson, and Willock in there. And we didn't see any of them on the field at all during the 90 minutes of the game on Saturday. So I'm not saying we're any better. The basis of what our second team looks like has changed over the last few weeks. I'm not saying it's changed for the better, because I don't think it has. But what it has done for me on reflection, Fergus, is it's highlighted, what do we do with the likes of Nelson and Willock and Maitland? If they're not going to get a run out when our basically what we think our second team is playing, should we move them on? Should we look elsewhere? My thoughts on them. I think they're good kids, they're good lads, and I've hoped for them, but I don't think they're up to the standard yet. And I thought the one of the few that got on the field on Saturday, Eddie Nketiah, showed that he's just still a little bit of being the standard we need again. So things have changed, mate. Things have changed. Those young lads didn't get on the field. So our second team has changed. But unfortunately, it ain't no better, mate. It ain't no better.
One player who I think had a really good performance, and I many a time on here I have actually criticised the guy, and not saying that he's not a good player, but some of his tactics and some of his approach to the way he plays football was Bernd Leno, and Bernd Leno made a great second half save against Shane Long, and he made several saves, and even in the last dying minutes, he was like shouting to scream to get players right up the end of the pitch, and he was distributing long. His distribution was much better. He's when he parries the ball, he's not parrying it onto the penalty spot, which was my big bugbear before. Men, we spoke about this on the phone in the week. I know you didn't see all the game, but you've seen over recent games. He has improved, hasn't he?
Sorry, you're talking about Leno?
Yes.
Yeah, we spoke about it. I don't know when it was, but yeah, we have touched on it. Since I can't remember, he dropped a real bad clanger early in the season. It cost us a goal. He's not looked back since then. The man, he just looks so much more assured. His distribution's improved. Everything's gone up a level. It's good. I'm really happy to see it. I think at times he's been our standout player, and I haven't always thought that of him. Yeah, I know he's a good goalie. I know he's a quality goalkeeper, but I just want more. You know, I want him to be a absolute top class goalkeeper, and I think he's showing that of late. I feel. Yeah, I don't want him, the Arsenal goalie, to be the number 3 goalkeeper for Germany. Yeah, I want him to be the number 1 goalkeeper for Germany. That's what I see in him at the moment. Anyway, but he's doing really well. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing with him, and that assurance is sort of filtering out to the defenders, because we do look. I think at the back we have progressed defensively, guys. From the shambles that it was at one point. I know we're not that great. We're not that great yet, but yeah, it's getting there. It's about laying good, solid foundations to just progress and build on.
I think Marky GTI says it in the chat, be patient a couple of years to build a good squad of 25 that can challenge for all the top trophies. At the moment, we just need to prioritise, and prioritising whether it's the FA Cup, the League, the Europa League or whatever. Dan, what did you think of Leno's performance, and also the defensive performance? In particular, the player I'm thinking of is Gabriel. Was he fit enough?
Well, first of all, I've never had a problem with Leno, and a lot of people on here have, a lot of the fan base have. I quite like that guy, I've always have. I looked at an article only an hour ago that said that Jens Lehmann believes he's been the most consistent performer of the last 2 or 3 years, along with Aubameyang, and I've always said he has been. When a goalkeeper drops the ball, 9 times out of 10 it goes in, so then the goalkeeper's crap. And let's be honest, Jens Lehmann was an invincible, and he made enough mistakes, trust me. So I don't think that he's a goalkeeper that deserves as much stick as he's got. I actually do quite like him. In terms of the defence, Gabriel was never nowhere near fit enough for that. I looked at the first 15 minutes, and that was just an absolutely unbelievable performance. I was thinking, this guy is so rusty, it's unbelievable. As you'd expect, he's come from 4 weeks out of COVID, or games out, whatever you want to call it. But Rob Holding went from Tony Adams back to Igor Stepanovs, didn't he? He was absolutely dreadful. I'm looking at this player and I think, wow, this guy is looking so bad. Maybe that was Gabriel and Bellerin. You know, I know Bellerin, excuse me, was actually quite good. I thought Bellerin for the first time in a while. But I do think that he leaves Holding in so much trouble, in so many vulnerable situations when he bombs it up the right-hand side. So defensively, Mem's right. We've definitely improved 100%. And I just feel that there was an issue with the balance in midfield yet again. And I can't understand for the life of me why he seems to think that Xhaka and El Neni are this Vieira and Petit, because they've proved for so long that they can't work together, in my opinion. They had a good game against Fulham on the first game of the season, funny enough, and then everyone said they were the next Zidane and Pirlo, and we didn't need Thomas Partey, I remember. But it proves that we do, because he came on and we looked good.
I think with that game, if you cite the Fulham game, we had Willian, who was on fire in that game, and the only game he was on fire. We will come to him in a few minutes. But I must admit, when I saw El Neni and Xhaka on the starting lineup after the last few games, I just thought, what has he done? And that was my honest first thing I looked at. I didn't even look at Pepe. I didn't even look at Willian so much. It was that there was where just I knew the game would be slowed too much. It'd be too much sideways, backwards passing.
You're right there, Ferg. You're right. Sorry, mate. You're right there, Ferg. And I think it got worse as the team went like that, really, didn't it? Started off all right, and then it went, oh dear, this is not good at all. So I think you're right. Big Steve's made a good point in the chat, actually, with my point about Bellerin, and he's spot on there. Down to Willian and Pepe on that right flank, that they just provide no cover down that right. It's just an awful side, isn't it, down that right-hand side? And that's why Saka's been moved over there, because he's the only one that can give us that balance, personally, because we look so lopsided of late over the last few months, really, on that left-hand side being so strong and the right-hand side being so weak. So, as I say, it didn't fill me with any confidence, the team sheet, mate.
Trev, Eddie, you touched on Eddie earlier. He had a shot deflected on 67 minutes. The guy looks devoid of any confidence. can he make the grade? Would you keep him? Would you try him on? I know, and let's not go into the Balogun sort of area, because that's an unknown quantity in first-team Premier League football. But in Nketiah, he's had a run in the Premier League. He's had a run in the Cup and Europa League, so we can see what he's about. At times, he's been okay, but of recent times, he just looks really shot to pieces. Would you keep him? Would you lend him?
Well, I've written Eddie down in big letters here. I won't forget Eddie Fergus, but there's a couple of points the lads made there that you've got to go. That I've got to go back and just put a comment on. Firstly, you Fergus, you've got to leave Leno alone, son. You've got to leave Leno alone.
I was praising him.
You have more problems on that field Saturday than Leno. You were not praising him, Ferguson. You know you bloody weren't. Listen, Holding, I thought Holding went backwards on Saturday, like Dan said, but I think he's got enough kudos in the bank at the moment, Holding, to stay in the side. And Big Steve is exactly right when he talks about Bellerin. Bellerin has had no help on that right-hand side of the field, right? And when he had Xhaka in front of him, Bellerin looked a different player completely, because he had an outlet with a bit of energy and he had legs to cover him. So that made a massive difference. I thought Cedric looked awful at left back on Saturday. I thought Cedric just didn't look a left back in the slightest. Can't make out why he went in there instead of Maitland-Niles. But as for Eddie, who knows? At the moment, in my head, I think no, Eddie's not quite going to be good enough. And I'll tell you why I think he's not going to be quite good enough. Because he's a trier. His energy levels are massive. He's all around the field. You cannot fault that young man's efforts. And so it's either one of two things. He's either not quite there to the standard we require, or he's having a bloody luck. I do think that maybe we don't want him starting games for us at the moment. We really don't want him starting games for us, Eddie. And just to chuck something back about Balogun, I've not seen Balogun play more than the few minutes we've seen earlier in the season. But what I will say is, taking into account Eddie's performances recently, would it be any worse for Eddie? Would he be any worse than Eddie? Would it be worth giving him a go just to see? Because that's how it is. Exactly right, Ben Bennett. I'm going to buy you a beer, son. What you say there about he just picks on him. You just pick on him, Fergus. And it's right. You pick on him because you can only say his name. You can't say any other players' names.
So for the people who listen to this on audio, Ben Bennett came along and said the only reason I say Leno is it's one of the few names I can pronounce. But that's my charm. Go on, carry on, Trev.
No, I'm done with it. I'm done with it now, mate. Just one thing I want you boys' opinions on. I got bitten a bit for it. I don't think Gabriel at the moment is performing to the level some people might. I know he's been out with COVID, but I'm talking about before that. I don't think he's quite there with Mari and Holding. For me at the moment, our best choice centre-half pairing is Mari and Holding. Gabriel, maybe just a little bit behind him for me.
And let's go to you, Dan, on Willian and Pepe. You know me. On Pepe, I've never been a fan. My daughter's partner in Germany watched a lot of international football. Bayern Munich looked at him and looked at bringing him into the Bundesliga, which is slightly slower than the Premier League. And they went, no, he's too slow on the ball. And we ended up buying him for 72 million. Forget about his price tag. But as a player, I thought he was just not even bang average. And then Willian, a player who myself and Mem said it was a good gamble at the beginning of the season to get him on because we've seen him at Chelsea. He's been class, but he's been absolutely crap for us.
Pants.
Well, both players have got talent, Ferg. You know, Willian's proved that for the last 8 years in a Chelsea shirt, and I think I preferred him in a Chelsea shirt than I do an Arsenal shirt. And the way, sorry, Kai, I'm not going to unload both barrels, mate. I know you want me to, but I'm trying to keep positive today. When it because we got a game in a few hours, in an hour. So as far as I'm concerned with Willian, I think you just got to cut your losses in the summer and just say it was a free transfer that hasn't worked out, and try and do something with Real Betis, who apparently are interested, and let him go over there. And if they're not interested, then see if he wants a big money move to China or America, because I just don't think the guy's got a future at this club. I'm done with waste men. I was really disappointed to see us linked with players like that, you know, and this was probably the only one that I was accepted, because I thought at least he finished the season well with Chelsea. But speaking to Chelsea lads, they were like, I don't know why you keep saying that. He was awful for us last season. Absolutely awful. And I think, well, what I saw, I thought he looked all right. And they were like, no, he was just dreadful. He had a really good last 3 games for us where he scored goals. And everybody said, oh, my God, like, you know, you've not got a good player here, boys, you know. And I was laughing, going, you know, I've tried to have some laughs. But they were like, honestly, we'll be laughing because you will not want this lad. And they're right. And after Fulham, of course, I thought, brilliant. 3 assists. This is just what we need. More assists than Mesut Ozil's had in the last 3 years. This is brilliant stuff. And it's gone wrong from there. As for Pepe, I think that you've got to accept that Raul's had his pants pulled down for £72 million. I think over 20 years, 30 years, 3 years, 1 year, it's still a waste of money. The kid's got talent, and I'd love to see him play more centrally. I would love to see him as either a forward or a 10, just behind the striker, because when he has played there in the FA Cup final, he was tremendous, and also he was exceptional at Anfield. So I would personally say that the kid's got talent, but he's a £20 million player, isn't he? You know, he's not a £72 million. He scored 22 goals for Lille. I think about 12 to 15 of those were penalties. So he's a player that has got talent. And I feel that if he was to play in a system, we might see something from him. But it doesn't seem to suit the system. I mean, listen, no one can tell me what kind of system we're trying to play or style. I've been asking that for weeks and I've not got anybody to tell me yet. But he certainly doesn't fit the build and piece of the jigsaw puzzle for me. And they were dreadful again at the weekend. I saw them too, and a lot of you said about Xhaka and El Neni deflated you. Those two deflated me even more, because I'd rather see the likes of Saka or Nelson or Martinelli than I would Willian and Pepe any day of the week, personally. I'm done with them, really. I just think every time they play, we know what's going to happen.
Right, that's the Southampton Arsenal game sorted. We're now going to look at the Southampton Arsenal game. Right, Southampton will
hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
They're going to be out in a second. There he goes. Go on.
I want to talk about Willian and Pepe. I want to talk about Willian and Pepe.
Right, you've got 2 minutes. Go on.
But Dan said it all, really. Something's gone on with Pepe, right? Something has gone on with Pepe. I don't know what's gone on with Pepe, but I feel sorry for the lad, really, because where 72 million went, I don't know. But I'm telling you for now, it weren't all paid for Pepe. Something else went on behind the scenes. Dan nailed it, because he ain't 72 million. From what he's seen, what he's shown me, he's not even 10 million of a player, is Pepe. He's not even 10 million of a player. There's something badly wrong there. And that's the one transfer that's gone on really in the art. Not the transfer, him getting another contract is the only thing that really confuses me. Why we gave him another contract for 3 years? He should have been gone. You know, he had a chance, should have been gone. I'm talking about Willian now. Sorry, I'm getting confused with myself. Willian, he just doesn't contribute at all, does he? And Willian is now stopping the development, if there is anything to be done, of Nelson and Willock and even Maitland-Niles. Willian is blocking them, as I said earlier. You put our second team out, you don't bring a youngster in, you bring in bloody Willian, who's 30-odd years old and shouldn't need a bedding in period. You know, he should be hitting the ground running. He's not even had to move house. So Willian is a blocker. Willian is a blocker that we don't need.
Right, looking ahead to tonight's game, Trev. Southampton will be without defenders Ryan Bertrand, Kyle Walker-Peters due to suspension and injury. So Bertrand's on suspension. Walker-Peters is injured. Nathan Redmond is fit again, but probably will be on the bench. We won't have Aubameyang for his personal reasons. Aubameyang. Aubameyang. We won't have Aubameyang for personal reasons, and we don't want to really go into that. We've all had personal crap going on over the last few months, and I just wish Aubameyang well, whatever it is. It's none of our business. We might also be without Kieran Tierney, who has a calf problem, and somebody put in the chat, if I can find it. It was Robin. Interesting who we'll see play right back, right wing tonight. Expect Saka to play to play left back if Tierney is not playing. Who would you see then, Mem? If let's take the worst situation that he's not available, Tierney's not available. Who do you see being in that berth?
Probably Ainsley's. I mean, Ainsley Maitland-Niles has done okay there previously. Yeah, we're a little bit light on that side of the pitch at the moment, aren't we? But I don't know who's going to pick or which way he's going to go. I'm just keep looking to see what team gets announced. But I just hope that we just go out with. Minutes. Yeah, I just hope that this evening. I believe have we got an opportunity of going 8th tonight? Does anyone can anyone confirm that? I think we have an opportunity if results go our way. As crazy as it sounds in this topsy-turvy season, I'm still holding out hope. I'm still a bit of an optimist, and I just believe that if we can string some results together, or continue to string results together in this real weird topsy-turvy season, surely there's an outside chance of having a shot at the top 4. I mean, some of you don't believe there's any hope whatsoever of getting there, but I am quite I tend to be quite optimistic when Arsenal's concerned. So
on that point, go on, finish.
I was going to say, aside of tonight's team selection or whatever, regardless of who he picks, I have believed progress is being made. I feel look at the players that he's gradually getting out of the club, weeding them out bit by bit. The guy's probably got more than a decade of bad decision making to shift through and improve and instill a better attitude, a winning attitude, a team ethos, and he's having to unpick so much, and he's learning on the job. Yeah, it's his first real big job, so he's going to make mistakes. He has made mistakes, and no doubt he'll continue to make errors. Yeah. I'm just glad, right, that we're not like the blue lot up the road, because some of you were alluding to the way that Chelsea run their club. And yeah, they have thrown an amazing amount of money at it over the last 20 odd years since the Russian fella's been there. And good luck to them. Yeah, good luck to them. But, as the Arsenal, we kind of do things a little bit differently, don't we? So I'm glad that we didn't yield and pull the trigger on the guy, because I've got a bit of time for him. I think he's doing the right thing. I think he is.
Mem, you've hit on a couple of points there, and I'll put the two of them to Dan first of all, and others come back. First of all, Abramovich. Would you like a manager would you like an owner like Abramovich over an owner like Kroenke? And the second one is top 4. We're 7 points off. I know if other teams get their results, we could be in 13th, but those points aren't on the board yet, so they don't count. Points on the board are the only ones that count. What do you think on those 2 points? And then I'll go to Trev from there as well.
Would I rather have Roman Abramovich or Stan Kroenke? I'd rather have Roman Abramovich, because although you might go through 15 managers, you'll have 15 trophies at the end of it. And I'd rather have 15 trophies than one trophy keeping the same manager and accepting mediocrity. So yes, I would rather have Roman Abramovich. I don't care about class. I care about winning. I grew up winning, and people can call me a sport brat all they want. I grew up winning, and that's what I want to win. I love winning trophies. That's why I was upset and devastated this weekend when we were going out of another one. So yep, if you want to say that we don't show class and that Abramovich has ruined football, I agree on both those points. But I would rather be ambitious and have an ambitious owner as opposed to Kroenke, who still thinks we play in green and white stripes. So I personally want to see an owner that cares about winning and shows the ambition of it. Top 4, no chance. And the reason we say that is because you've already said we've only got 7 or 8 players. 7 or 8 players don't get you top 4, mate. 25 do. So I would say personally, the minute Saka and Smith Rowe get their knocks, we're back to Willian and Pepe and we'll be 7th or 8th again. Just my opinion.
No, that's fine. Trev, is Dan a sport brat? Is he wrong to be ambitious? And Dan, this isn't a go at you, but it's just like
No, it's fine.
There is an element of younger fan base who haven't been around when you were around, when God was a boy and stuff like that. You know, I'll leave you go from there.
But listen, Fergus, Dan's not a spoiled brat. Dan's a good mate of mine. He's not a brat, but he is spoiled. Dan is spoiled, and I think Dan probably knows that, as all young Arsenal fans were that grew up in that period when we were winning everything year in, year out. So they were spoiled. I wouldn't use the word brat because I think that's not fair and that's wrong. But that they were spoiled. They were spoiled on success. So this is why I fully understand Dan and the other young lads' points they're making. Would I like Abramovich? No. Do I like Kroenke? No. I'm old hat. I remember the days when money didn't. Nowadays, you win the league, apart from who sort of shot us down. But nowadays, there's 2 ways you win the league: most money, and you have the best cheats, right? The best cheats win penalties and win free kicks, right? And the richest owners buy the best players. That's what wins football leagues. Not like when you used to have a really good manager and you have to have a really good coach. You still need those managers and them coaches, but they're more like, they're more like bloody just counsellors now, aren't they, than actual coaches and that. So I fully understand what Dan says, but I can't get, I'm going to change the subject, right? I can't get Kieran Tierney out of my head. Right, I think that Kieran Tierney is that important to our football club. I honestly think you could go as far as to say Kieran could be the difference between us winning and losing a game of football tonight. Right, he's that good. He creates that many chances from his left wing back position. He moves the ball around the park, and his enthusiasm rubs off on other people, other players, and he's that important. Interesting.
He's all
they
about
said about
passion and
Maitland
drive.
Niles will play left back tonight.
Unfortunately, he's not in the lineup tonight, Trev. We've got Leno, Bellerin, Louise, Holding, Cedric, Xhaka, Partey, Saka, Smith Rowe, Pepe, and Lacazette. And on the bench, we've got Ryan, Gabriel, Chambers, Maitland-Niles, Elneny, Willock, Willian, Martinelli, and Nketiah. So
No Tierney, then.
Bag.
Tierney's completely out.
Fergus, let me just come back. Fergus, let me just leave that up there, mate. Leave that up there a second. I'm just going to have 5 more seconds. I was just about to say I can't see how Ainsley Maitland-Niles will play left back tonight, because if he was thinking about Ainsley Maitland-Niles at left back, he'd have played him at left back on Saturday in the FA Cup game before he moved Cedric to left back. He must have a real big problem with Maitland-Niles at the moment, not to want to play him there. The only thing that worried Cedric at left back, he didn't look brilliant, did he? Other than that, if Aubameyang and Tierney are missing, I can't see how we can put a better side out than that we've got out tonight. Well, probably I would have Mari in for Louise.
Martinelli, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'd have Martinelli instead of Pepe.
Yeah, Martinelli, 100%.
Oh, but do you know what? I didn't even see Pepe. Boys, sorry.
Do you not think that he's maybe protecting or having Martinelli kept on the bench as an impact sub, because you've got Martinelli and Eddie that you could bring on if needs be, and I know Eddie we've criticised earlier and over the last couple of podcasts. Do you not think that maybe that's what he's trying to do, keep Martinelli fresh and bring him on? Dan,
due to the injury.
I think with With Martinelli, that's the one that shocks me because he bought him off the other day. What the hell did he sub him for? I don't really understand that. But yeah, maybe he's wrapping him up in cotton wool. I don't know. He's the only one on that bench that can change the game, though, isn't he?
It can only be that, really. What Dan just said. It can only be that, really, because you'd have him. He'd start every single game. Let's face it, he would, wouldn't he? But it can only be that. Like Dan's saying, he's just looking out for him and just maybe, bring him on with 20, 30 minutes to go, depending on how the game's going. But all I was trying to suggest earlier on with what I was saying, guys, is really that I actually do think things are moving in the right positive direction. I know it's painfully slow. Unfortunately, we don't have the kind of money that the Russians got to throw at it. But if you look at the plays that are going out, and I know William's been pretty bloody poor, but Gabriel Partey, he played. I really like him. I mean, he's quality. He's like a Rolls Royce footballer. He plays the game at a pace that suits him. He tries to dictate. He's always looking up. He's good. He's good. It's early days for him, though, still, isn't it? Because of his injury. He played a handful of games. So, give Mikel a bit more chance, guys. Is all I'm saying. I think he'll be okay. We ain't got the money anyway, have we? Who are we going to go and get? Our owner's not going to dig his he's not going to dig deep, is he? This is where we're at.
I look at the transfer window at the moment. Obviously, Matt Ryan's come in as a backup goalkeeper, which I'm happy with. I think that's a really good signing. He did well for Brighton the last 3 games. I think Ferguson's frozen, so we'll carry on talking.
Oh, is he?
I think Runnison is obviously going to go back out on loan. So Ryan for me is a good signing. Obviously, we've looked to have signed Martin Ødegaard, which I think's a kind of okay signing. Maybe it's a bit risky, but I think that it's a signing that we can see what can happen. It's certainly a position that we need to improve on, and I think what Ødegaard will give you is some competition with Smith Rowe in that position as a number 10, and he can play on the right wing. So he's an option that's better than Pepe and Willian already in my position, in my opinion, because anybody's better than them. I think the thing is, Mem, what I will say, I know Ferguson's going to go into this team sheet in a minute. What I will say to your comments there is with Arteta is, I want the guy to do well. Absolutely, of course I do. I'm an Arsenal fan. I just don't see personally what he's trying to achieve at the moment. I can't see a style of play. I can't understand as much as happy as I am off the field with some of the transfers in and out. He has got sort of 9 players that are his. So people say he needs 9 or 10 players. Well, he's got 9 players that he is, and he's already got 5 that he's got to sign long-term contracts. So those 5 he must like as well. So that's 14. We can only have 25 players in the squad registered. So I think that he has got 14 players there that he clearly trusts that he can move forward. Now, we definitely need more, 100%, and we ain't nowhere near ready, in my opinion. But I don't really have the confidence at the moment, personally, with the players that we're getting in, that Arteta knows what he's doing with them, because his man management of some of these players is questionable, mate. It really is. I don't understand Maitland-Niles. What's he done wrong? He's not again in the squad. Wasn't in the squad last at the weekend. Now he's nowhere near the squad again. And Tierney's out. So what's going on? Why are we playing Cedric and Bellerin yet again?
Tierney's injured, though, isn't he? Isn't Kieran carrying an injury? Okay.
Tierney's injured.
A couple of weeks ago, I was shouting out for Ainsley to be given a run in the central midfield. I really felt he deserved an opportunity. He's playing really well. He's had a couple of games and chances since then when he hasn't exactly played so well, Dan, has he? I can't remember which game it was because my memory's not great of late, but he played a game at left back and he was not good. Listen. All I'm trying to get at is I think he's trying to undo a hell of a lot of crap, from top to bottom.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and like I said earlier on, it's his first job. He's gonna make mistakes because he's learning on the job. Yeah, but I still believe he's the right guy. I really do.
Yeah, and listen, I really hope he is.
Go on, Trev.
I agree with you, man. In that, and I think Arteta's the right man for the job. I think Arsenal have been a bit unfair to him because, like you said, Mem, he's learning on the job. And should a manager of the Arsenal be a manager that's learning on the job? I'm not sure that a club of our stature should be having managers that need to learn things. I think they should have done their apprenticeships before they come to our great club. But nevertheless, that's what we've got. And the only thing, I agree with Dan in part from the fact, the only thing that confuses me with Arteta a bit is his team selections. Now, obviously, I'm not anywhere near as qualified as Arteta to make the team selections, but it does baffle me sometimes. I cannot find it.
I agree with you.
Looking in as a fan, man, where our improvements have come. 3 players have driven our improvements. I'm going to leave Tierney out of it because Tierney was there before him. But Martinelli, Saka, and Emile Smith-Rowe, as playing the 3 behind the front player, are where 100% of our improvements have come from. That's where
exciting.
The life has
That's
been
exciting.
into the
100%.
side.
Yeah.
That's where the excitement's come from, Dan. That's where our positivity has come from. And most importantly of all, it's those 3 players that have lifted the standard of the rest of the players in the team, right?
Yeah.
So if I was Mikel Arteta, if Martinelli only had 9 toes tonight and was only going to make like half an hour, we think he'd start. I think those 3 players should start. We've blown out a cup, so the league is our challenge now. The league and the Europa League. So for me, if they're not injured, they play. If they're only going to get through 45 minutes, we think you're playing for the first 45 minutes. You play your best side to win a game. So some of Arteta's selections are confusing me.
Lads, I can't disagree with what you're saying.
Like you just mentioned.
I can't disagree with your comment.
Yeah.
Go on.
And he has indeed, right? Arteta has indeed cleared out some of the deadwood that I thought would be around a bit longer. So, and it looks like, I don't know, Dan might be able to put me right, Dan or Ferguson more in the know. Is Mustafi on his way as well, mate?
Looks that way, yeah. It looks like Mustafi's going to terminate his contract as well, which will be great news. To get Kolasinac, Mustafi and Ozil out the door with Socrates, that is fantastic business. And I can't knock the team for the board for that, getting together and saying, who do we not want? And Arteta working with Edu. But there's a couple of people in the chat saying that Arteta hasn't signed 9 players, but you'd be surprised. He actually has. You've got Runnison and Ryan. They're 2 goalkeepers that Arteta signed. You've got Cedric and Gabriel. That's 4. Number 5 is Pablo Mari. Danny Ceballos is number 6. You've got Odegaard, who's coming tomorrow, Thomas Partey and Willian. And on top of that, he's given Luiz a contract, so he sees him as the part of the future. He's given Holding a contract, Saka a contract, Martinelli a contract, and Aubameyang. That's 14 players. So there's only, 11 places left in the squad. So he has got 14 players that he believes in. So people say he just hasn't got the team. Well, he has got 14 players out of 25 that are his. So I don't really get that. And I don't see a style with those players. And people can say he hasn't got the players to play a style, but there's 14 players that he believes in. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given them a contract or signed them. So I don't know. I just don't see it. That's all it is. I might be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope he takes it forward. I hope he does.
I hope he does too, yeah. I just feel there's as many changes, and all the players that you've listed that he's signed or he's brought in or he's signed on, yeah. There's still too many bang average players in our squad, yeah. There's still as many as we've managed to get 5 out in this window, yeah. We need to get probably another 7 or 8 out by the next window to move on. There's like just so much work to be done, and I think he's doing it. All I'm saying is we have to be patient. We don't have the means of, we don't have Arabs behind us. We've got an American fella that's taking out as opposed to putting in. So that's where we're at, yeah.
Listen, let's not go into a transfer thing, sort of thing. But Marky and Robin in the chat saying that Cedric, Murray, Willian aren't Arteta signings. Louise was an extension. yeah, Louise was an extension, and you can't include it because Raul was around. Well, Edu's there at the minute, so the manager in charge their signings under his command. So that's what we're talking about. Listen, what I want to look at is looking at this game. This is our opposition. This is who we are playing against. Theo Walcott could become the former Arsenal player to score at home and away against the same team since Super Kevin Campbell, Nicholas Anelka, and Robin van Persie. What do we make of that team? It's a strong front line with Che Adams, Ings, Walcott, Ward-Prowse. He is playing. Armstrong, Delalio, Volkins.
I like Danny Ings. I've always liked Danny Ings. I don't know why. I think he's a really, really good player. Sharp, always busy. They've got a manager that's built a real hard-working, tough team, haven't they? We're up against it tonight, but I don't know why. I fancy us for a win tonight. I really do.
On that note, then, what
good old
actually?
Good old Truls.
Good old Truls. Yeah.
I can't say anything about Southampton. I don't know any of them players. They must all be rubbish. Never heard of any of them.
Nah, mate. Nah, mate.
4-0 to the Arsenal. 4-0 to the Arsenal tonight.
Dan, what do you make of that lineup? It's a threatening forward line, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just to be expected. Ralph said he was going to go strong in both these games, and he has done. I think that the back line is definitely something he's had to tinker with because of the injuries. I still think Jack Stevens and Bederick are a good partnership, and Vestergaard being out is a big blow for them. I think that Ward-Prowse is a fantastic player. I'm with Mem. I'd love him next to Party. I think he said so. Absolutely love him. Ward-Prowse.
James Ward-Prowse, absolute quality.
Yeah, and he's the best free kick taker I've seen since Beckham. I tell you that. Obviously, Walcott is always a threat against.
Never seen me smash one in the top corner.
And then, of course, you got Danny Ings, who I'm a massive fan of. I think they're good. If I'm honest with you, I'm a huge fan of Southampton, actually. I just like them. I just think they've always had good youth products coming through. I look at the field, Walcott's and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, you've got Gareth Bale, Adam Lallana. Some great fullbacks as well, and Nathaniel Klein, Luke Shaw. They've all gone on to great things, and obviously Van Dijk come from them as well. So I think they've got some great players that Southampton have always had. Sadio Mane is another one who was at Southampton. They've always had good players, and I just respect them. And if I'm honest with you, I'm a big fan of Ralph Hasenhuttl. I think he's a good manager, and he's proven that it was the right decision to keep him. So yeah, it'll be a tough tonight, tough game. I don't know if we're going into predictions, but I think it'll be a tough game.
Tough game.
Trev, anything to add before we do go to predictions?
Not really, no. Disagree totally with Dan. I think Southampton are rubbish. I don't think they can kick a football. And I want to hear Fergus say Hasenhuttl.
Hasenhuttl. It means rabbit house. House. There we go. Yeah.
All right.
Q then, Trev. Q.
Yeah,
right, Arsenal have won 4 of the last 5 Premier Leagues, conceding just once. Again, shout out to Leno, 508 minutes without conceding a goal. Absolutely fantastic. And it's not just because I can pronounce his name. I do think he has improved. Is what the point I was trying to get back earlier on. Southampton have only won once in the last 6 Premier League matches, drawing 3 and losing 2. This game, I know if we try and forget about Saturday, this game, they're similarly placed in the league. It has the recipe to be a really, really good game. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. Southampton have always been a bit of over the last 4 or 5 years anyway, have been a little bit of a bogey team for us. My prediction, I will go first this time for a change. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. I do hope we actually might nick it, but realistically, I'm going for a 1-1 draw. We know what Trev's is. Mem, what's yours?
I'm going to go with 2-1. 2-1.
2
to us. For us, of course.
Okay, of course. Dan?
I'm with you, Ferg. 3 draws in the last 6 for Southampton, and I don't think that with Pepe and Bellerin down that right, it fills me with any glory. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw also.
Okay. Trev?
Heathens. Put that comment up there from Truls. Truls has nailed it. Put it back up from, that's the one. 4-1 to the Arsenal. We won't get 4 from Saka, but we'll score 4 tonight. I'm telling you.
By the way, Terry's got it in the right format, people.
I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on here. I think my missus is the house.
Well, she's probably annoyed that you're falling in love with. she's probably annoyed that you're falling in love with Truls. You see, that's what it is. So
Truls is my man.
He is indeed. Right, listen, I don't think there's very much else that we're going to chat about. We have got some transfers on the boil. I don't know very much about him. We did touch on him briefly when we had Dan Mountney on Saturday. The chap at Real Madrid. Dan, do you know anything about him? Mem, do you know anything about him? Stick your hand up if you do.
Yeah,
Odegaard.
Dan knows a bit more than me, I think.
Well, he was a wonder kid, wasn't he, when he was signed for Real Madrid at 16 or 17 years old, and it's not quite worked out for him. He was really good at Real Sociedad, really, really good. I think that it depends what you look at in terms of stats. I'm not really a stats man. I think he played about 30 games, got about 4 goals and about 10 assists. So he has got the ability to be fairly creative. He has got some vision, got a great left foot. And I think the issue, again, is going to be, are we going to be able to keep him fit? Because he has had injury problems. I think it's a kind of no-brainer when you look at the lack of funds at the club and he is available to play and allowed to come on loan. There's no option to buy from what I'm told. I might be wrong there. But it's a kind of stopgap for me until the summer where I hope for a huge signing like Jack Grealish, but I can dream. I think when you look at the situation, it's sort of position that we do need. So I'm not against this signing, but I don't know enough about the guy to say that he's going to be a revelation. So, of course, it's a risk. But we'll see what happens.
Mem, do you know any more on him?
I know. I can't really add a great deal to that. Yeah, I heard about him as a 15-year-old. He was heralded as allegedly the next Messi. It hasn't quite panned out. From the little clips I've seen of him, he does look, the boy has got talent in his feet. What I do like is I like it's a young signing, someone that is hopefully, what I believe he's got something to prove, a little bit of hunger, a little bit of passion in his belly, as opposed to a Chelsea cast-off or something along those lines. So I'm keen and eager to see how he performs, and if he does well, we'll see. Loan signings are not permanent, so who knows which way it goes.
Trevor, the transfer window, you sent me a message, I think it was yesterday, and you said that it's a good transfer window. It's not about what's coming in, it's more about what's going out. We've had a decent keeper come in, and we have had this young chap come in, and my brain is a fog, but we've had a couple of incomings and then lots of outgoings. What's your overall opinion of the transfer window so far?
Fergus, overall, I can't knock it, mate. I think that we've seen progression in a transfer window, which is
you say you can't knock it, but you did knock the fact that it's loan signings. So I want you to address that comment as well in your response.
Well, if you let me get a word in, I'll address it. You ask me a question, then you start yakking on, don't you? Listen, we've got rid of some deadwood, as we discussed earlier, right? Fantastic. Look, he's frozen now. Look, he's got rid of some deadwood, like we said earlier, right? He's brought in a reserve goalkeeper that we all knew we needed, right? With all respect to the young lad, but we needed a solid backup. We've got that. We've cleared out the deadwood. We've got this lad coming. I don't know. I've never seen him play before. For me, he's a Real Madrid reject. Prove me wrong, but hopefully he will. So it's a better transfer window than we've had for a while. We've cleared out what we didn't want. They're not on the books anymore. We're not paying them money. And just remember one thing, young Dan Potts, right? There's nobody better than Mikel Arteta. He's the best looking Spaniard I know. Yeah, I have a bit of faith in him for a little while longer.
Can I just change the subject very quickly and say congratulations to Jack Wilshere for just scoring his first goal for Bournemouth in the FA Cup. Well done, Jack.
Oh, good lad. Good lad. Yeah. Big up. Yeah. Big up. Yeah.
Right. Are you finished then, Trev?
No, of course I've not finished. I could talk all night, mate. But, listen, we've got to be positive, right?
Yes.
We've got to be positive. I knew that, right? I knew when I said that about the Real Madrid reject, I knew that my hero Truls would pop up on here, But we got to have faith. We've had a bad transfer window than we have. I fully understand young Daniel's point of view. I'm using his Sunday name there because he was brought up with a winning side. Him and people of his age were spoiled, right? And they are going to suffer. But I think we're getting better. We've got to find out what happened with Pepe. I'm not going to dwell on him again. Don't worry, Fergus. But I really do think we need to know where that 72 million went. I think it's a key to moving our club forward and making sure it doesn't happen again. Hopefully the people involved are already gone. But other than that, we're all right. And if anyone out there knows how on earth we gave Willian a 3-year contract, please get in touch and let me know, because I can't fathom it out for the life of me.
As they used to say, Trev, in your day, answers on a postcard to P.O. Box. Right, listen, guys, enjoy the game. Thank you for joining us. Mem, I know it was tight for you to get on. Dan, brilliant having you back on again. Some people think you've never been here before, but it's where it all started, isn't it? In the North Bank, chatting to me on my phone.
Loved it. And always join you, boys. Always enjoy it.
How it's progressed from there. And old man Trevor, looks like it's me and you all the time at the minute. And you are available Saturday, so you will be back on Saturday with myself, yourself, Albert, and Big Steve. So
Stop. Yeah. Don't you go yet without talking about your good lady. You need to give us an update on your good lady, because don't you dare go.
That is coming.
Right, okay.
Right, guys.
I'll let you off then.
So, as some of you may or may not know, my wife, it's now 6 weeks, actually, since she first was diagnosed, and myself and herself were both diagnosed COVID positive. My wife ended up in hospital over New Year for 5 days, was very, very ill, getting probably about 200,000 litres of oxygen pumped into her lungs. Over that 5-6 day period. And to give that in some perspective, when you go into Card Factory and you see these 5-foot sort of helium canisters, they hold 100 litres. So imagine 200,000 litres of oxygen. That's how much oxygen the NHS had to give my wife to keep her alive. She came out. She started to recover, and unfortunately, a couple of Saturdays ago, she went back in again. She is on the mend. She's got COVID pneumonia on her lungs. She's got blood clot on her lungs, and she can't sustain her oxygen levels without support by our great people in the NHS. She's witnessed some horrific scenes inside the hospital, in the NHS hospital. Whipps Cross, they have been absolutely amazing. And through our family and some family connections, we've heard of some people who've unfortunately not been able to make that the whole way, and they've not made the journey, and sadly left us. And it will touch all of us in different ways. But all my point is, and I've done this time after time after time. Sorry, Trules is just coming like he blames Spurs. I just say it time and time again. I could give it to Dan. Dan could give it to Mem. Mem could give it to Trev. None of us have anything wrong with us. You can give it to anybody and everybody and have very mild symptoms, but you give it to that one person you love or care about, and they end up where my wife has been for the last effectively 6 weeks. And she will hopefully get discharged this week. But then we're looking at 6 to 8 weeks of recovery, of heart being monitoring, lungs being monitored, blood being monitored. This virus is serious. So please just do what you can to keep safe, and just do not for yourself, just for others. But that's the end of my lecture. I try not to go over the top on it, but you have been watching an Arsenal podcast, not a COVID podcast. You have been watching an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Guys, enjoy the game. Really thank you for joining us. If you like what we do, click subscribe on YouTube, because if we can get up to that level of 1,000, we will be able to do stuff from down the pub, when Dan and myself and even Mem might even pop down and see us down the pub. And we can say hello for 10 or 15 minutes and do some stuff like that I expect, next season. Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks, boys. Only one last thing to say.
Fergus, wait. you've got to mention it now, right? Down the pub. I can't wait to get down the pub with you boys again.
Oh.
You can't just leave me hanging on that edge. The day will come soon when we'll be back, brothers, in that pub having that beer. And Fergus is going to buy one, I'm sure. All the best, boys. Up the Arsenal. Sorry, Fergus.
Up the arse.
You've been listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons and Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too.